start with that. So what do you think about that? I think we missed something. No.
We have lesson yesterday, but do you have like a group who wants to start? Ahmed is here.
I don't know, guys. Maybe I can show the preliminary study I showed you. Yeah. But I don't know if the rest of the group is there, and it's if you agree. Okay. It's we divided more or less the work. So this is just going to be the presentation we made after we started to understand the city of Moscow and its relationship with the waterfront. And we found, maybe I can share my screen. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. It's a very, very, very preliminary study, so please take it as it is. And just to make a brief introduction of our group to the rest of the participants, we are Olga, Farah, Xinjiang, and Yan, and we would like to deepen the relationship between the business district of Moscow and the waterfront, and use the mycelium as a let's say infrastructure able to reconnect these two elements of the city, both in a cultural and environmental and urban way. Let's say we would like to put together all these elements. So we found this exhibition at the Broken Nature exhibition in the Triennale of Milano. And actually we saw that this group of researchers started to understand the relationship between the Moskovitz and the river. And for us, it was very nice because actually the exhibition analyzed the 200 years of relationship between Moscow and its river. And it started in 1990, and it ended up in 2100 century. So imagine in the future. So here we just showed you the three era. I'm sorry, this is not the era of Romanticism. This is the present one. I'm sorry. So in this let's say exhibition, there was before the era of freedom, so everybody could actually swim into the water, into the river. But actually there was they started also the industrial, let's say, revolution. So the relationship with the river started to change. And then that's the era of the Romanticism, because as I said, they really started to a massive industrial, let's say, transformation of the city. And of course, the river, it's kind of important because it enabled the transportation of raw materials and everything. And what we think is very nice is that from now on, they, let's say, imagine a new era of that would like to, let's say, renovate the relationship with the river. So the people would like to take artistic actions and enjoy illegal swim, another way, let's say, to clean the river as well. So we'd like to maybe follow this momentum, like this people they call the friends of the river. So we would like to position ourselves, let's say, in this envisionary, with these envisionary people. And then we found this project because it was very hard for us to understand the city of Moscow without none of us actually have been there, so it was not very easy. But we found this project that is of 2014, and they would like to renovate and recreate a sort of connection of the water, the riverfront, and the city of Moscow with the pedestrian and cyclable ways, and also the more metro stations. And we found out that Moscow is a very, let's say, active city in terms of public transportation and connections and so on. So we think this was a nice reference. So we would like to also to maybe add our spots, not just in the building business district, but also in another part. And then we start crawling on the waterfront of Moscow. Here are some pictures. And what we think we would like to, as Katya told us, to understand where to put this platform, and where could be maybe the launching spot, the first launching spot of our mycelium. We call it columns in a certain way. And so we would like, first we started to understand the relationship within the rivers, and we can see there's a lot of green parks, and also we like this, let's say, stairs that gives a sort of timing, slow, it's a transition between the pedestrian and the river itself. But sorry, because I have this. Regarding the business district, maybe we thought that could be a nice transition to start attacking first the river. Sorry, the bridge, and then slowly going, because we think that also as an intelligence, as an agent, could be more in the first thing that I would attack would be the bridge, and then I would go all the way up. And for more or less, this is for the analysis of the area. So I don't know if it could be a good starting point. And then we were playing with the script, with the design of our platform. And also we would like to, because the other maybe they don't know, we would like to, from this platform in the river, we would like to launch a sort of robotic elements that are able to depose the food for the mycelium and have these column shapes, and then the mycelium can go from one column to the other and invade, let's say, this space. Okay, maybe I can stop sharing. I don't know if the rest of the group has to say something else. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Thanks for sharing that, Olga. I think I don't want to, this is not necessarily about the storytelling, but this is really about the technical thing about Grasshopper that I'm still wrapping my head around. Hopefully we can have some time to explore that. I don't know if it makes sense for us to, before we start to explore growing complicated or complex mycelium networks, is it a good idea to start modeling basic shapes just to understand how the mycelium works? And I'm having yeah, that's I don't want to take away from the feedback now, but that's something that I've been currently going over with, because we want to ideally plug and play with the Olga and Jan was looking into the design of the sort of the master plan, and then we can hopefully plug and play the mycelium script and hopefully take it from there.
Do other participants of the team want to add something, or like everything was said? What do you feel?
So thanks for Olga's great presentation on the waterfront, and for yesterday discussion, Ferris and I will take some look at the script and how the transition between the waterfront and with the the Moscow Business City Center will be. So maybe I can share you guys with some screen as well to show some experiment on the script. It's going to be very simple, but I believe it will be very interesting to see the experiment. Yeah, so let me share my screen. Yeah, so here is some basic experiments on the experiment with the Mazzinian structure with the building transition. So here is the first experiment. So it's using the block behavior on the rotational tower in Moscow. So we could see how it rotates along the surface of the geometry and gradually growing like a plant or flower and create a very interesting dynamic geometry and behaviors. And here is another example on the building geometry and transition. So it starts from a very simple mesh geometry, and then we're using the mesh crawling behavior as well to show how it's gradually transition from the ground and then move to the surface and the facade of the building. And it's going to be like a waving pattern as well. So adding some wandering waving pattern as well to create more dynamics. And then we gradually start from the from those random points in those semicircle geometry, and then gradually flowing into the upper part of the geometry and adding some floor slab as well. So it creates some nice platform for those people or passenger. Maybe they can in the future they can add in some more bridge to the facade of the building so that people can access from those platforms from the in the interior of the building. So yeah, so this is another so we can add some mirror comment to this geometry as well to create a more dynamic feeling of the building and for those Mazzinian structure. Yeah, so yeah, so that's a very basic to experiment on the geometry and the grasshopper code. Yeah.
Nice, really nice.
Yuyan, maybe you want to add something?
No, I think they did very good, and yeah, that's all.
Cool. That's really cool to see the development, and I think those structures at the end they look really beautiful. All nevertheless they are like are at the start. And yeah, so I really like that you have found the Meganom project and that you can use their research and data, because yeah, we lack of time, and in the short period, I think it's the brilliant idea to just use the research from some project that they spend much more time doing that. And yeah, so in general, I think that the idea is, as for me, the idea is quite clear, and you are moving in a very good direction. And if you need any grasshopper consultation with the script, but I'm not sure that you need, because I have seen those scripts and they were okay, like very good. I mean, the results. So yeah, but if you need it, just let me know. And what I wanted to say is that I guess there was also something about the water purification, and I think it would be good to look into how the structure on the water would look like, and like what is the start, because for now we see how it's like the progress. Yeah, and maybe we can also set up the stages of the development of the structure, which will also have a timeline which somehow depends on the local climate, or maybe on some local, I don't know, on the mushroom growing cycle, so that we can have more real, I don't know, connection. So I think it's great. And also, so you will start to connect to the bridge, right? And as I understood it right. So
Yeah. Yes, that was the first thing that comes to our mind, because I mean, it's in a certain way logical, but as we told you, it was very hard to find the right spot without fully know the
area.
I don't know, guys. What do you think? Maybe I went too far with the bridge. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine because like we can use some existing structure that you can crawl on it, for example, to go to the Moscow city. So I think it's a perfect idea. And also I think that this bridge that you were showing is a transportation bridge. So you can add a pedestrian part for it, which would be more organic shaped, and it would be only for pedestrians, and it would be with pure air. So it's I think it would be a really great addition to this space as well, and it will lead to the beach with those like this pond, water pond. So I think it's nice to have this structure.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for like really good presentation. And I think like Meganon project, it's really good that you found, because I've been on there like at Yuri Grigoren's presentation like 3 or 4 years ago when they were presenting this project. And it's a really good, like in terms of research and public spaces and transportation, they kind of really went deep into it. And the same, like, I mean, he's a really good architect. So to use it as a background, it's like you got like the right research. I would even think like maybe based on it's the same what you said, like as much as possible, kind of maybe like they have this analytics and they have their certain strategy, like how kind of to plug into it, and maybe use their spots and their research as a starting point. Because like in one case, I don't want to push you go to the whole Moscow city, but maybe it's even can be like just a set of platforms or something that's kind of that you just to show kind of that you can think like a little bit more like globally, but maybe it's like too much, you decide. I really like Natalie's comment about stages of construction, because it's kind of can show that first, I don't know, you have a platform or like a starting point of the bridge, and then you have kind of how it goes up to the buildings, and then how you kind of inhabit, for example, the structure and the building. And maybe it can be even a very simplified like unit kind of robot, like not like design, but you don't have to go in technical aspect, but like kind of explaining what schematically it has to have to kind of to perform this, to deposit like a material. Also, I think like in one case you can connect it to the bridge, but maybe even much more directly to the water, because all like for mycelium, you will always need to pump kind of water and kind of deliver some water for it. So maybe it's a kind of in one case it deposits material, but then it kind of pumps some water up for it. Because mycelium can take, but of course it won't take it further. So it will kind of immediately show that you kind of bring some water, and maybe if you want to go or not, like it's can be also good for like, I don't know, plants or something else in the future, if you pump water to the whole like structure, and also like maybe to cool structure. I'm just kind of speculating about it. Yeah, I also really like exploration in terms of like geometry, how it's already started to go around the towers, because like it's quite sensitive in terms of porosity, like it's enough light goes through, but at the same time structure kind of has quite a lot of units to play with and kind of implement like other stuff into it. So it's quite already quite sensitive, and maybe it's even nice if it's on one side of the skyscraper, or like in certain parts kind of that it's not like completely overtaken. So I think it's quite sensitive research for the area, and for like also in terms of geometry. But I think like also, again, back to like Natalie's comments, it's as soon as you show like steps, it creates like a real like, clear logic that's what's kind of your starting points, like platform starting points kind of. So it's kind of set of things like how do you approach kind of this level of like complexity and scale.
Yeah, I also would like to ask if any other group participants want to comment on this project, or maybe they have some ideas that correspond with their project. So I think it would be really suitable because we can all comment. Have a discussion, I think it would be much better. Yeah, I think we can go to the next group for, during this session, because later on we will split into rooms again, and I think we will discuss more closer within the group. So I guess maybe we can go on to the next group who wants to present something.
Thank you very much for the comments.
Oh, thank you. Okay, the next group would be Saba, Iran.
Yeah, hi, I'll share my screen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So yesterday after the meeting, we were just sort of sharing some projects that we kind of want to get inspired from. And basically, we want to create something like this one, where we have like platforms in between, like we had discussed earlier. And since it's going to be like a public space, and it's going to be like, we wanted to put these kinds of places where people can walk as well. And instead of like creating bridges, I think it would be more, it would make more sense to have sort of like floor slabs. So anyways, after that, we were just still, I guess, sort of getting familiar with the script. And for now, we've only been using the Stigmergy script, and we're kind of trying to create sort of connections between the bridges, like we had, between the buildings, like we had discussed. And this is what it kind of looks like. It's not quite what we were planning to, because we want to have more levels. So we're still kind of experimenting by changing the position of the points. And we want it to be more, some more maybe like a hanging kind of structure, rather than just connecting the buildings. And yeah, so, and also, I guess this was something that you must have already seen yesterday, but this is what, this script is also, I guess you could say, taking us a bit closer to what we're trying to achieve. And yeah, and some other like discussions about how we're going to represent and how we're going to show what the issues are on site. So yeah, so that's it. That's our progress for now.
So it's thank you so much. And I just wanted to ask, are you planning to grow the mycelium structures, which would be lightweight, or this would be bridges where you can walk?
It would be something like this. So the main network is mycelium, but we do want to try making it move along these kinds of like small slabs in between.
Okay.
Something like this, yeah.
Okay, I see. So basically you would need to sign the platforms in some places.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
The supporting structure would be the mycelium, or maybe
yes, correct.
some additional structure, maybe some by a company that will hold.
Yeah, perhaps that would be more structurally stable.
As for the catenary structure, I guess maybe you can add Hungary at the end, And maybe it would be more like a hanging structure that you want to achieve.
What should we add, did you say?
I mean, after the Calibra calculation, you can also try Kangaroo in Grasshopper.
Yes,
So
yes, right.
Force, the gravity force, and maybe it will work well to achieve the structure that you want. I also think that it was really good that you have started with the green infrastructure. I think it was particularly your sketch. So, so that you can also think about the stages of this project, let's say, invasion. So how
Yes.
change, because it was nice how you layered out this at the beginning with your sketch when you did the analysis of the green spaces in the district, and then you started this at the starting point. And maybe if we are and I think for the slabs, for the platforms, it would be good to understand where they are needed depending on the functions probably, or maybe you can even use the roof of this shopping mall in the center, because it's park, so maybe we can even do like a green roof.
Yes, exactly. So if it hangs, I was thinking, like we were thinking it could sort of come down and connect to this roof as well. So I did try putting points on the roof, but for some reason it just it wasn't completely happening according to me, according to like what I tried. And also so one more thing is that so these points are supposed to be the points where the spawning starts, right? But they weren't necessarily the points where the spawning started. I think, in fact, the spawning kind of started more at random.
Well, that's...
Yeah. So I'm not like I'm not quite sure. Still, kind of trying it out.
Okay, I will look through it after the presentations.
Yeah, sure.
It's quite difficult, but I think what can be happening with the points is that there is a separation force in the not even the separation force, but in the stigmergy, there is a separation magnitude and separation range. So you play with those parameters, and maybe that's why the points that are too far, they cannot see the others. So
okay, I see.
Can be the issue.
All right. I guess I'll have to try, because when I tried moving these around, I wasn't seeing a lot of change.
Okay.
Like there wasn't much difference. The only thing that produced difference was changing the velocity and the speed.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. You can even send me those points so I can look myself in Rhino.
Okay, I can send you like this file with these points.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's all for now. And if my teammates, if you guys want to say something, Jacqueline, Piran, and Shengbin.
I would just like to add that I think that the problem with the spawning points, at least what happened to me, is that the initial points actually move. I mean, they don't stay statics and then they reproduce, but the points that you introduce to the script are the ones that move, and that's why the initial points actually are not into the spawning points that are that go out. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but I think that is one of solution. I haven't tried it, but it will be to add those versus points to the curve network that we create after. But I'm not pretty sure about it.
I think also what can be happening is that there is in the in the very beginning, where you set up the spawn, there is a parameter where you can change what the points should do when they hit the boundary of the box, of the bounding box. So they can respawn, they can bounce, or they can do nothing. So you can change, play with those, and maybe.
Yeah, I think we might even have to adjust the box according to where we want it to go. That might also help.
Yeah, exactly. So are there any other additions to the presentation?
Yeah, Piran and Shenbin. Do you want to add, guys, something? The ones that's in the same team. Shenbin, do you want to add something?
No, I think they've said.
They agreed.
No, I think they've said what I want to say.
Okay. Piran?
Yeah, I'm here. Well, I think the Seba is she's how to say. I think she's done well. So she's talking about all of the outcome that we discussed.
Okay. First of all, as I said before, I really like the name speculative biourbanism. It just kind of sounds really cool. There is like expression in Russian that's like the way you name your boat, the way it will be kind of sailing. So it's kind of name is important. But I would think about like what will be a system for your like platforms, their relationship in between, as it's like more like steps, or for example, if we take as a starting point that's on the shopping mall, it's a big park. So it's kind of how they start like clustering and like go from it. So what will be the logic? What will be the system for them? Will it be kind of when you analyze your like network, that's like, I don't know, what we shared with you, like according to like how like what is the space in between, you kind of every time like you place like a platform. At the same time, back to your kind of green sketch, like greenery that overtakes the plot. When we go like with your system now three-dimensionally, it's the same like as with platforms. You can think about like structure, like that's this kind of vivid one. This is kind of like a structural that's like as a main kind of cloud that you start developing, but then also like you have certain like certain logic for platforms and then certain logic for greenery. So it will have more like layers. So it will be clustering somewhere on the structure, maybe with like units that we shared, maybe with some other cells or elements, or like just directly from like if you're really sick on the structure, like hydroponics or something. I'm just kind of think through, but like that it also can, it will kind of create a certain level of development of the system, because first you have the starting point where it all grows from, then you have like a set of platforms, and then you have like a greenery that kind of overtakes it. So it will be very diverse system. And I think it's also like kind of help to create this thing that's like goes through the whole, like through the buildings and stuff.
Yeah, I also think about how we can structure those platforms, because this is and how they can all merge together, the structure, I mean the platform, and then the supporting structure which holds this platform. So I'm just thinking maybe we can use something like, I don't know, the cells or some aggregate structures that we can just I don't know, create like a heat map, and then I mean, heat map will be showing something else, maybe the lack of greenery, or maybe the functions, or maybe altogether, and multi-criteria analysis. We can also do the heat analysis. Well, that actually is a good way to go as well. So because I've been looking. I think it was even in your portfolios. So you were doing the structures from some grids or aggregates or some structures. So I think it would be good to move on with this trial to organize somehow things, because for now it's all so random that you are being a bit lost how to go on. And if you try to find some ways to organize, I think it will be, and on this opposition between something really fluid and something really chaotic, and something which is very well organized, I think this combination will look quite beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's just like being a little bit careful that's like these platforms, they're not like really kind of heavy and kill the system, that they have this like kind of flexibility. And also if we go back to like Jacqueline's idea about real human scale, maybe in your particular project you don't need to grow all the way up, you stay like few floors, kind of that this is like a multi-level park, but it's still kind of like you decide how high you want kind of to go, but maybe you don't need to occupy everything.
Yeah, maybe not to go very far away. Maybe we just start with one level, as you were drawing in the beginning, which will connect to the roof of the shopping mall.
But I mean, the one that they showed now, it's already kind of, I think it's a good scale. I will just want to go like higher. So it's probably 3-4 floors already. And also shopping mall is already, I don't remember, but last time I went there, I mean, it's like around 3-4 floors kind of thing.
Around 15-20 meters.
Yeah, and also the funny thing on this shopping mall facade is a printed kind of trees. So they kind of try to
I've seen that. That was a bit ironic, yeah.
Yes,
instead of the park, we will print a park to you.
Yes, it's like, sorry guys, but that's what you get in capitalized kind of world. But it's really nice, and I think it's the same like for the first team. It's about like what the construction stages. For you, it's maybe what's your layers in the system. So it's structure, it's platforms, it's greenery, kind of, I don't know, public spaces. So kind of you put your layers and develop them as much as you have like kind of time, and like as there is a logic and strategy for all of them, even if it's like quite simple one.
Yeah, and also it's interesting. I just start to invent how the structures they will start to assemble. For example, what would be the starting point? So you grow platforms from the facades, or you start with the lines, and then the platforms will be growing on those bridges and on those lines, and how this will all connect with the greenery. For example, will the greenery actually grow there, or maybe that would be like we were proposing, we create a grid of the cells where we can input different kinds of functioning cells. So it can be water, I know, some just solid cell from mycelium, draw mycelium, and then it can be a pot or connected pots with the green stuff. So I think it's interesting to look into the materiality of these things, because I guess you have all those ideas. So
yeah, but also if there is something in this structure, for example, this main structure that's created with agents, is like, is it like just a structure, or is it like pipes inside, kind of, that's like has water or something? Kind of what could be done like also?
Oh, for now, we were just thinking like that structure is something that brings greenery so that it allows plants to grow on it. And it also supports those platforms that would be like placed and some places in between it. So those two I would say is the like primary purpose of the structure, and also creating the connectivity and creating the public space as a whole inside within the business district. So yeah, I mean, these three are like the primary purpose of this structure. At least that's like the driving concept for now. But I think one good thing is Natalie was saying attaching the platforms to the building facade. So that could be like a good idea. The platforms originate from the building facades or from some floors of the buildings, and then they come in, and we could reason that the structure then comes around it and holds it up, supports it. Something like that. Let's see when we discuss further, but thank you so much for the reviews and the ideas.
I have one more thing that's probably like there is a possibility to make hydroponics everywhere from your structure, and then like just put robots that's harvested, that people can't kind of access those points, but they're like harvesting and stuff, that it will be like quite a lot of food production for people.
That could be really cool, yeah. Mushroom production, food production, yeah.
Mushroom, like salad, wherever like you want, but like it's
yeah.
Yeah, but I think before we would need the other groups' work and Ahmed's towers to purify the air and the water.
Yeah.
We can grow food in this district. So
it can be a stage by stage thing. All right, thank you.
Yeah, but I always liked when it's like all kind of hipster movements came in, and everybody was like, I'm growing. People were growing like, I don't know, tomatoes in Brooklyn, in New York, and you were like, great. Doesn't sound like a kind of right tomato to eat, but people were like very, very proud of it. And it's
no, but I really like the project when they created the kind of farm on the top of the pizza place, because the external heat from this pizza making process, it was really supporting the climate for the plants to grow. So in some cases, it's really interesting how you can play with this urban waste, let's say.
Oh, I haven't seen this project. Sounds cool. And you can have like your tomatoes for pizza.
Yeah, because you have all these glass facades. I think all of you remember when they were doing because of this Vignola facade in London. You could actually boil some water for coffee on the opposite side of the street. So why not
melt the car?
Melt the car, right?
Nice, really nice.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Okay, and the last group. Okay. Can you go on, please?
Nadine, Ahmed.
Dan and Amy.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I can share my screen. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Nadine.
Let's start by saying, okay. Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to present our group first. We are Amy and Dan and Ahmed and me. First of all, we decided to fix our goals. We want to use mycelium alive, and in order to try to highlight the idea of do interaction between the people and biomaterials and nature, because we want to highlight that nature, it doesn't exist in this area, and we want to encourage people to interact with nature. So our first goal, I told you before, and concerning the scale, we are now searching about how to use the mycelium and the system in order to place this mycelium in a public place in order to create this interaction. So we are thinking to doing a wall maybe in the public space or a facade, working on a facade. So first we try to see how we can do this, how we can create this system. So we are thinking about how we can apply the mycelium alive plus waste material. So we tried to see many projects. Please, Amy, can you go down? First of all, no, up, no, again, up, please.
Okay, okay.
Up. Okay, we see the growing mycelium pavilion, how they try to make it. They try to grow mycelium on using wood panel. And furthermore, you can go down now. Down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Down again. Yes, here, some two at the end. There are also two projects done by AYAC in Barcelona. The first one, they try to also to create in the public space this panel system and to grow the mycelium on it to have mushrooms. You can go a little bit up. Yes, this one. And the other one, they try to go down, please. Sorry, I'm down. Stop. Okay. In this project, they try to using digital fabrication in order to create mold in which we can cultivate the mycelium to have the mushroom. So these are some systems that we have founded. And there are some also reference. You can go, Amy.
This reference, right? Yeah. This source is from Dan, and he provided this one from about like the 3D print a share that use the fungus and to grow inside the 3D print things to make a share with the like a structures that like the network of the myceliums, and also the one from the idea from both Dan and Ahmed. Yeah.
Yes, can you zoom to the plan?
This one?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes, here. So I did a research about the traffic area near the towers complex. I found that near that intersection of traffic area create a huge pollution. So I'm trying to create with my group as a suggestion, like it could be green wall infrastructure that could prevent the pollution air to the complex towers inside. You can zoom a little bit.
Okay.
Yes, to the towers. Here, like you see, I'm trying to suggest a location of the mausoleum, how it could be. This green line, it could be a corridor on the same time preventing the CO2 and the other gases that increase from the intersection of roads from the traffics. And at the right, you can go, Ami, to the right. I found some resources that the weather and the air circulation of these towers is considered by the form of the towers to prevent any problems inside this complex. So it could be our proposal like this technique, how we can use the air circulation to prevent any pollution inside. To the left, I have some references. If Ami can go to the left.
Sorry.
Yes, here to this board. So here I'm trying to make a reference of what it could be the environment inside this green infrastructure wall. In this photograph, you can see how it could be like a corridor inside it, and at the same time, people can walk without any problems, because from we see on the traffic, there's no areas for people to walk or to make their time outside. So it could be like this. And the air purification structure system, it could be like this one. How we can this structure, it could be emerging with green areas, that it could be purification the air. On the interior, on the outside of the structure, it could be like this reference. Yes, this was my part. Anyone can continue after me.
Yeah, it's done now.
Yeah.
Danny, can you hear us now? Because he has a problem in the internet. Can you hear us?
Yes. Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
I have a small idea about our project. The first time is the concept. I just like the entry grass will grow here, providing a habit for biology and
We lost you.
I think Dan is thrown out.
I think a connection from
No.
a spaceship.
Well, we can read the comments probably while
Maybe we can make mycelium grow on the concrete forest and combine with vines like a grass growing under the trees to shade people from sun and provide a place to rest. So it's basically like, I think, shading kind of solutions.
Okay, cool. Okay, then I think she has some problems with internet today. Actually, I had a message. But anyways, with the comments, I think it's quite obvious. I really like the progress and what you have done. I think the project, there are like 3 different projects, but at the same moment there is it is one as far as I see, because I think what for example Ahmed is suggesting is really good to correspond with the air pollution and the place for this wall or the corridor, and then you can, for example, I'm just suggesting, So as I see, so you can create this corridor in the wall, and then you can input the panels there that will grow mushrooms on it, and then you can also use them maybe for the air purification as well. So this is really great. And also I think the structure that Dan is creating is it looks quite similar to the Ahmed's references. So maybe you can merge all these ideas into one structure, and then to develop this structure which will actually clean the air in the Moscow city and prevent, and also it will be creating a bridge for the pedestrians and the pedestrian way. So I see it like that, actually. I don't know, you correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. Thank you for like a very like a diverse and kind of interesting presentation. And I think the same, like kind of what Natalie said, that it's in one case different projects, but it's really can come all together in one developed like kind of project. And it's true what Ahmed suggests, that it's going to be like a tunnel or like a system of tunnels that go inside and creates like shading and open and close, more like a different shell structure systems that people can go inside, have public space, and like go in and get out. If you can kind of break apart how it purifies kind of air, it will add kind of really a good point to it. I'll be careful with things like what you showed, like this pavilion with kind of, I call it a cake that's like melts mushrooms on it. That's, sorry for this. But I would be just careful in terms of like aesthetics. If like, do you like in terms of aesthetics? It could be, but I have like questions in terms of which kind of functions mycelium plays here. Because in one case, when you create like as minimum a brick from it, it has like a structural performance that you can build. But here mycelium is just kind of on a wooden frame, and it has kind of more like this geometry like look, but it doesn't function. So I would look a little bit more in functionality, like, or how do you work with mycelium that it's utilize its functions, structural or kind of, it depends, like people think like very different thing about it, like, but does it look pleasant kind of for use? It's like, is it like attractive in terms of aesthetics, like the way it looks, like the way like you touch it? But I would look into more or structural performance or like kind of where it's like performs as a material itself, not just kind of a panel that's on top of this like structure. Or like I was thinking about this, how does it, how do you create when it's inside, more like a chair example that you shared, that's kind of, it helps with the structural performance, but also kind of you can control its aesthetics, like and visual a little bit more. But I personally just question like projects when it's just on top of something as a panel. But it could be like in terms, it's good in terms of acoustics, so it can be an argument to have.
Yeah, I think, sorry, Katja, I think the idea here is about that mycelium is alive and that it is doing like it's growing protein bodies and you can harvest them.
No.
But I'm not,
maybe
for example, I'm about the group idea.
Yeah, like, and it's great, but just like this particular pavilion, what I remember, it was like dead mycelium that just looks like this. And if it's alive, great, but it has to be in this time, in this case, kind of covered with something, probably. Kind of, so you create also an envelope from it, from another material.
Yes, I can add something, please.
Yes,
go ahead.
I think in order to create our idea, and it could be a good reference to use, Amy, can you go down? The idea of 3D printed, that uses 3D printing in order to create the structure, maybe this idea, and also grow the mushroom on it. And maybe also the go down, Emmy, please. Down, the last one. Or maybe doing some digital fabrication like this, and draw also the have the cultivation element on it, inside of it, in order to grow mushroom. So it can be a strong structure that we can grow the mycelium inside it.
Yeah, I think what we talked yesterday with you is that in this case, it will be also good to break it in steps. That, for example, maybe at the first step, you grow mushrooms and then you take like out the block was where mushrooms grew, you dry it and you had like your panel. So kind of you have a production, food panel, and it's can happen like on facade, on like a structure that you constantly kind of replace, and you have like a whole factory kind of inside. You just need to explain it. Because if it's just a dead panel, it's okay, but like I think it could be much more interesting. Like, and if during production of a panel you create also food, and so mainly you have an envelope that you can replace substrate, because you need to give it like a new nutritions, new kind of it won't be keep growing and producing you like mushrooms multiple times. It can do few times before you will dry the panel, but it won't be forever because you will need to replace substrate.
Yes, okay, get it.
Yeah, so
Yes,
it's kind of breaking it into steps, that it's not just a mycelium panel that like grew and dried. If you want to work with an active mycelium, you need to break it into steps, like how do you replace substrate, how do you keep it alive, kind of, and if you can use it as a material and keep using kind of a panels. It could be even a very interesting design if it's, even if we take just a box without going in a digital fabrication, it's a certain like box that open and close. But then if you go further, like and make it more interesting and complex, but still think about how do you open and close and to keep replicating panels and mushrooms.
Okay, I didn't get very well your idea about digital fabrication, you said? It's not necessary.
I mean,
to do?
what I mean, you start from the logic that, I mean, simply it could be a box that you grow a panel and you grow mushrooms and then you get panel. And then you can get a more complex into design. How does it look, but still keep the kind of functions?
Okay.
You understand?
Okay. Yes, get it.
Yeah, to kind of build the whole story is it's like you have both, but how does it work geometrically? Because you need to have access to replace substrate, to kind of change everything. Like how I remember, usually it gives like 3 or 4, like it gives few goes like for like fruiting bodies, but that you can cut fruiting bodies, kind of add a little bit of water, it will like generate them again, but then it will run off of substrate, like of nutrition. So you will need to get it out, and then you can have a panel and use the envelope like a mold for it again.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just sharing kind of.
I remember this pavilion in Victoria and Albert Museum, the ICD Stuttgart pavilion. It's filament. Maybe you remember when there was a robot which was doing the new structures for the pavilion during the exhibition time. So you could just come and see how it is growing. So it started from just few elements, and then they were doing each week. They were doing new element and attaching it to it, and it was the robotic arm doing that. So you can actually think about something like that. So you can automatize this process somehow, and it could be a fancy part of the. It would be like an exhibition as well to see how you change the unit, how you dry it, and then you move it back. So I think it's really nice. And I also think it's just from the beginning of the conversation that we were talking about the air pollution, but we can also think about the noise pollution. And I think in terms of noise pollution, this corridor would be also very yeah I think you can easily prevent noise from coming to the district this way.
I think it's two amazing points that Natalie brought. It's like, it's true that you for sure can do noise, to protect from noise pollution with mycelium, much easier than CO2. Because what we talked yesterday, when mycelium grows, it actually creates CO2. It's not like a plant, it's more like a human. It breathes in and breathes out CO2, like kind of, not CO2, but like it's kind of breathes out like already, like it doesn't generate fresh air. And another thing, like it's really cool. You maybe can design the whole structure, but then break it into like the whole tunnel, but then break it in the part that you start from your fabrication, like location of few of them. Do you do it manually or robotically, and then kind of how you keep aggregating and growing step by step. Like, for example, first few weeks, it's like, I don't know, 20 panels. So it's a small part of the shell. Then you can break it by weeks. That's like after like 5-6 months. I don't know what do you do in the winter, like, so you kind of need to stop. But during the summer period, for example, that you can grow this amount of like structure, that there were like there is like logic, and like you can calculate how many points, how do you fabricate them, and then like how you keep aggregating them, and how much approximately, I don't know, food you create, and how much panels kind of you create per like a go. Or for example, you can even calculate that every week you harvest like mushrooms. For example, every week there are like certain like panels that they're ready because you started them in the right time, like in the different time. Because for example, like, I don't know, usually it's months for like to create fruiting bodies. So it's, you know, that if you started this panel like a month ago, it's like will be mushrooms in 1 month.
Yeah,
so
and
kind of,
oh, sorry.
So just create like a time frame. It's kind of will be very unique, like what's developed in different kind of time that's in parallel. So kind of what's your results kind of.
Yeah, and also at the same point to work with the whole structure, to think about where to place the panels so that they will provide the best noise pollution, and also where to put plants, for example, to do air purification, how this will work together in symbiosis. So where would be the paths, where would be the open spaces, where would be some, I don't know, maybe you can even insert some functions as well, a cafe, or I don't know, parking lot for bikes, or whatever. So I think this is really interesting to think about that part as well, or maybe these shading structures that Dan is developing. They can also integrate into this corridor. Cool. I don't know if anyone else wants to say something.
Maybe yes. I also know that they produce CO2 and they breathe. So maybe for their pollution could not be the best choice, but maybe coupled with plants. If I may, I just
yeah. Yeah, I think in this combination, or maybe even to add some water as well.
Yeah.
No, I think it's really great points. That if Natalie, you remember when we discussed with the like Mycology Institute, and
yeah.
they're offering that you need to combine plants and mycelium. Is also for mycelium better to grow because they get fresh air, and because they don't grow like really good when it's high level of CO2. They also kind of slow down. To speed them up, you need to give them fresh air.
And I think it's also interesting because we can use because the kind of mycelium that is actually will be growing on the substrate, it's an aggressive mycelium, which is not really friendly to plants because eat it. But there are some other species which actually is a mycorrhiza, which connect the plant's roots, and they help the plants to survive and to live more comfortably, let's say. So I think you can also add this idea as well. So in this symbiosis, you can work with the different types of mycelium. And I think from the cultural point value, this would be also really interesting. And also I can say that we were doing experiments within the Inhalable Matter projects with Katya, and we were experimenting with the pots of different plant species. And so we created like a system of connected pots, and we put the mycorrhiza inside, the agricultural mycorrhiza. You can buy it everywhere actually. And we also put the separate pot, which was not connected to the others. And we were experimenting, I think this structure is still alive. So it's the third year it works, and actually it lives outside, and in our climate, the plants cannot survive in winter outside. So I actually put there every year different species, which are only 1 year cycle species. And all these 3 years, the different plants show that the plants that live in the connected pots, they survive better. They are bigger. The leaves are much bigger and they are greener. And the pot which is not connected to the others, the plant always looks more poor than the other. So I'm just I'm starting to think that maybe next year I will add more pots and connect this one, because I really it's a pity to see this alone plant for me every year.
But yeah, it's a kind of proof scientific approach that there is like a small plant against like the healthy, happy ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, really nice.
But I think that it's enough for science. It's really, I'm really sorry to see a lone plant every year.
Right. No, but it's really amazing. What I'm getting very excited about that we can help with our design and kind of creating intelligent systems. Like we can direct the system, and we really can change how things work. And it's not that we don't create any more beautiful kind of design. Even aesthetics is important. We create the whole system that supports and kind of like makes it better for everybody, for like humans and plants kind of. And I really enjoy like kind of keeping it all into the game. Okay,
so thank you so much. Another exciting project was presented. So I created 3 rooms. Maybe you can just go to, I will not assign, you just join because you know the groups.
Yeah, room 1, room 2, room 3. Yeah, and I think like we'll just give you some time, and then we'll pop up a few times, like just to answer if you have like more like group questions in terms of development, or you can just keep working like by yourself if you don't need our feedback, like if it's enough.
I also had a suggestion. If it's needed, just let me know right now. I'm asking, so I can create another room where me and Katya will be there, and you can for Grasshopper consultancy. So you can come in, you can show your scripts, tell us what's wrong, what you want to help with, and so do you need this? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
Okay, so I'll try. Okay, so yeah, go to your rooms, and I'll try to create this one.
How do you join a room again?
You cannot join. You don't see. There are breakout rooms. The button, and then 3 rooms.
No, we have it disabled.
No, I don't have it on.
Oh yeah, we need to assign rooms. Okay, I'll do first team, maybe you two, the second.
Okay.